Welcome to Sweet Talk SLP. I'm Krystle and I'm a pediatric speech language pathologist. For today's video, I'm going to give you my holiday gift guide for kids. But before we get started, if you're not yet subscribed to my channel, I invite you to subscribe, like this video, and share it with your friends. Let's get started. I'm going to break up this holiday gift guide into 3 different sections by age group. The first will be 0 to 12, the second will be 12 to 24, and the last one will be 24 to 48. Now I realize the last one is a 2-year jump, but I just feel that a lot of these toys can be used starting from a younger age and then going up to almost 4 years of age. So let's just get started with our 0 to 12 month babies. First, I love recommending books, and for babies, I like recommending crinkle books. I like the crinkle, but I also find that babies love them. They like putting them in their mouths, they like hearing the sounds, and I think they're a nice, fun, interactive book to use with babies. Along with those, there's also just those soft books in general, and I prefer the high contrast ones that are black and white or that have very little colors to them. I think they even have some that are crinkle book, high contrast books, so be on the lookout for those. Very similar to those black and white books are the flashcards. The set that I like is broken up into, I think, 4 different sets, starting with 0 to 3 months and then going up to, 2 to 3 years. And so it starts with black and white cards and then slowly integrates colors and then all the way to the end where it's full colored cards. I love these cards for the variety. You can use them starting at 0 months if you so desire, up until 2, 3, 4 years of age if you like. My next recommendation are baby blocks, those chunky plastic baby blocks. Kids enjoy them. They're easy to play with. Not your 0 babies, but once they're a little bit older and getting closer to that 12-month age, because you can have fun stacking them. They like to put them in their mouths, throw them around, put them in things, take them out of things. Similarly to that are a stacking teether, and so it's a stacking toy, but it comes in that silicone-y material similar to those blocks, and so I really like that set. And I think, of course, you can use it for your babies that are mouthing things, but you can also use it for older kids that are working on stacking or trying to follow those directions. They even have some sets that include both the blocks and those stacking toys, so it is one of my recommendations. I also really love starting with some sort of shape sorter toys with my babies that are about 8 or 9 months. My favorite is a shape sorter toy with owls. It makes a little bit of noise, and then the little owls that you put into it are very chunky and easy to grab. You can see the owls going down the tubes. It also has like beads that you can play with. There's another one that's a colorful one, very similar. I believe it's from the same maker even, that has it's similar in that they're a little bit chunkier to put in. You can see them. It has beads you can pop up and down, but it also makes a funny little noise when it goes down. And so I find it very interactive and fun for our little babies. Let's hop over to my 12 to 24 months, starting with books. Always books. I'm always going to recommend books. I give books at baby showers. I start them young. Always books. And so for this age group, I love recommending board books in general because they're more durable. So a nice thick board book that a child can flop around with, but that you can also read and look at pictures with your child. I've also thoroughly enjoyed the Melissa and Doug polka dot books. My favorites include the set of 3 with first words, shapes, and colors, I believe. Those are smaller board books or smaller polka dot board books that only have one singular dot on each page. So I think it's easier to visualize and for kids to look at the pictures and attend to the page because there's only one picture. And it's good for those early first words and things of that nature. My other 2 favorites I would have to say are the Old MacDonald and the 10 Little Monkeys, and only because, one, I think nursery rhymes are very important, and songs, especially those very repetitive ones. So those 2 books in general for the polka dot line I enjoy because it leaves a lot of opportunities to get children to imitate those songs or to say parts of the song when you're reading it along with your child. I also really like the Leapfrog 100-word books. I know they have a lot of varieties. I like the original one. I don't like all the other different ones. I just like the original one. I like that it's broken up into categories. It's really durable, and you touch it and it very easily tells you the objects that are on the book. And so I like using it with some of the kids. You don't have to turn it on. You can just read it and, have them point to them and you tell them what the objects are. But I also think it's really neat for them to hear someone else say it. I don't always like toys that make a lot of noise, but this one, I really feel it helps promote language. And so I do recommend it with this age group. Games. I love integrating games during this age, especially getting closer to that 24 months. And easy games. I don't expect them to follow the rules and, be able to take turns. But some of my favorites are some of the Goliath games. In particular for this age group, I like to use Jumping Jack. It has little carrots that you stick into the base and then you pull them out for the rabbit to jump out. If that is too scary for your child, just work on putting the little carrots in and taking them out. As they grow older, add the rabbit in and then add the factors of playing the actual game using the spinner that it comes with. But I think it lends for a lot of language opportunities, and eventually those turn taking. You put a carrot in, I put a carrot in. You pull a carrot out, I'll pull a carrot out. And until you get to the rules of the game, I think it's a really fun game to start with. I also recommend puzzles. I really enjoy the jumbo knob puzzles that Melissa and Doug has, because it only has 3 pieces. It has the big old knob, so smaller hands can really grab the puzzle pieces and really manipulate it on the board to put it on. So I really enjoy those puzzles for this age group. I also love toys that you can put things in and out of. I feel like it's a trend already. If you haven't already, you can't tell with the Jumping Jack game. The piggy bank toy is one of my favorites. I use it in therapy. Many of my parents have gone out to buy one for themselves, for their child, because of the progress they've seen with their own child while we're using it in therapy. And so it's just that, a piggy bank with plastic coins that you put in the slot, you open the little door and take them out. Similarly is the Chomp and Count Dino. It also has some coins that you put in this little mouth, and then it has a little, door to take them out. And so it has colorful coins, and you can count them, and you can use really basic words like in, out, eat while you're playing with this activity. So very fun. You can turn off the sound. You don't have to use the sound, and just model words as you're playing with those 2 toys. I love learning resources toys, and I feel like this is the age group that you really start looking at some of those toys. In particular, when they're about 18 months, I really enjoy Spike the Hedgehog. It's a early fine motor type of activity with little spikes that they put into the little holes. For some of the little bitties, they like putting the pieces in their mouth or throwing the pieces, or just pulling them out and not really putting them in. But I think it's a great toy to start working on those fine motor skills. Even though I'm not an OT, I know that, but I still work on, fine motor skills with my kids because, I want them to make progress in all areas, not just in speech. Along with that, I also really enjoy the Peekaboo Farm animals from Learning Resources. And so it's a collection of little farms or little barns with animals inside. And so you open them up and you have a little animal inside. And so a lot of language opportunities: open, close, take out, put in, singing Old MacDonald, using the animals, making the animal sounds, starting some early pretend play with those animals. So some really fun activities to use with those. I'm going to jump over to our 24 to 48 months. Books. I told you, always books, just based on their age. For this age group, I like recommending Dragons Love Tacos and How to Catch a Unicorn. But there's a variety of books for this age group that you can find. You may want to start with those board books for your 2-year-olds, going from 2 to 3, using the polka dot books. But as they're a little bit older, you can get some more complex books that you can read during bedtime stories. And so, as I said, books are always a good choice for gifts. Kids may not always think so, but as your, YouTube SLP here, books are always a great choice. We're going to go back to talking about games. I really thoroughly enjoy Goliath games. And so for this age group, I recommend Banana Blast. It is super similar to jumping jack, but it is more difficult to stick the bananas into the holes because of the curve. They have to be curved in just right. It lends for opportunities for your child or patient to request for help. And so it's more difficult for the younger age, but I think once they're a little bit older, Banana Blast is a great choice. Of course, Beware of Bear is another Goliath game that I recommend, along with Pop the Pig. But really, if you look up Goliath games, there are so many. I own so many. I own more than the ones I just named, and I recommend most of them. They're all very simple, and they're very fun and interactive, and I think they're great choices for gifts. Other games that I love to recommend are Don't Break the Ice and Candyland. They're both classic games, and I think that if you know a child doesn't already have these games, it would be something fun to add to their play activities at home. Learning Resources has tons of materials for this age group, and so I will tell you a couple of my recommendations. Actually, I'm only going to give you one recommendation because the second recommendation that I have wasn't coming up on Amazon, so I'm not sure what's going on, but I'll tell you what it is anyways. So the first one that I'm recommending is the Pirate Treasure with keys. And so they're little treasure boxes with keys. You have to open it up and it has little trinkets inside. So it really works on those fine motor skills. It has different colors and objects. And so it's a really fun toy to work with. Also having kids, request for help. The other one I was going to recommend for this age group is the Rockin' Gems Surprise Toy. And so that one is the little rocks with gems inside, and you use a little hammer and a pick to open the rocks and look for the gems inside. I love that game. I bought 2 of them, and I bought 3 in total because I sent one out to a winner in a giveaway on my Instagram page, and that's what they chose. So I sent that one out to the winner, but I bought 2 for myself because I gave one away to a patient, and I had to buy myself another one. And it comes up on Amazon, but it's not available for sale. So I don't know what's going on, but if you can find that one, I recommend it for this age group. I spoke about fine motor skills a little earlier in this video, and I'm going to talk about them again because one of my favorite toys is the Disney Cupcake Surprise Activity. And so it has menus so that you can follow along, so following directions. And it has these tiny little cups and cakes and frosting and toppings to put the little cupcakes together and pull them apart. You can make a game out of it. I think it's meant to be played as a game. I've never played it as an actual game. I've used it as a reinforcement activity while we're working on something else, or for following directions, making sure that we're listening to some of the directions. And I noticed that it's been very good for some of my kids who have not the greatest fine motor skills. It has strengthened their fine motor skills putting these cupcakes together. And I've used it with several age groups. I mean, you really have to be closer to that age 3 because it has some really small pieces in there. So this is more for your 3 to 4 year olds. But I have a variety of 3 to 4 year olds that really love putting these little cupcakes together and then using them in pretend play and pretending to eat them or pretending to feed them to something else. Similar to that are take apart toys in general. And so I have 3 recommendations, and they're the ones that have like a drill or a screwdriver. I have the dinosaur set, and I highly recommend it. It's been a really fun toy. It is a little bit difficult, so this one might be closer to your 4-year-olds, but it's a really fun activity of taking apart the dinosaur and putting it back together. But they also have a construction vehicle set. So it's all yellow and black and has like a bulldozer, and I don't know all the names of the construction vehicles. And then there's another vehicle set that I came across that has like a train and an airplane and maybe a car. And so I think these sets are really great. I found one once at Dollar Tree and I love it. It's a little dump truck. No, it's a little recycle truck. It doesn't have the drill, but it has the screwdriver, so you can only use your hand, but it has less pieces, and I love it, but I've not been able to find it since. So this is the next best thing. It's a little bit more intricate, but I think it makes it a better gift for that reason. And last, Magnetiles. I really love Magnetiles. I love putting them together. I love talking about the colors and the shapes, building different towers with them, putting things inside of it, building garages and putting objects in it, taking out, building houses and castles and all kinds of things. So I think Magnetiles are a really fun, or any building blocks for this age group, like maybe Legos that are age appropriate, Magna-Tiles. I know that there's some other, games, activities, objects, like you stick them together kind of like Legos. I don't know, like connecting toys. So I think connecting toys or Magna-Tiles and that realm of thing, I do recommend for this age group. But we're gonna leave it here. We're gonna not make this list so long because I know we are pressed for time to get all our shopping in before the holidays. But I'd love to know, what are some of your favorite gifts to give for your 0 to 12, your 12 to 24, your 24 to 48 month babies and kids. I didn't want to go much older than this. This is the population that I work with the most. So these are the toys that I work with the most and that I can recommend as a speech language pathologist. I want to thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, I hope that you'll consider subscribing. Like this video, share it with your friends. Make sure to ring that notification bell. You'll be notified of my weekly uploads. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you on the next one.